All right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Sister Deborah coming this evening with a message titled Time We Talk. Time We Talk. And that means Sister Deborah is going to say some things. You're going to say some things. We're just going to talk about a little something over there, a little something over here. We're just going to talk. And me, myself, I like to start off by saying the Most High Yah is one that really, really seriously spoon feed us. Because what I know today, I'm like saying, well, Father Yah, when I learned about the power and how the power was dropped and how the power is the right hand, the stretched out arm, the us in Genesis chapter 1, and how the power is and was Christ, the Son of Man. When I think about that power, I think of it being just the things I spoke of because that's all he has led me to believe. But as a few days have gone by, and I'm like, wait a minute now, Father, wait a minute. This whole thing is about power. Did you all know that it's really all about power? Power. When Sister Deborah say and talk about the ball being dropped in the beginning, it was always power. When Sister Deborah tell you it's finished, it's because it's finished the way we see it, the way we have thought and felt and teach and comprehend. Now it's his time. Pull up with that power. It's about that power, you guys. And I had no idea that all that time, from the beginning to the end, it was always about power. See, a lot of us think that Satan wanted to take over the throne and the kingdom. He wanted that power, y'all. It wasn't so much as, hey, I'm going to take over and rule. He wanted the power. And this is why the Most High gets the victory. He allowed the ball to be dropped in the beginning just so he can pull up at the end. Oh, Father, yeah. Oh, Sister Deborah in trouble tonight. I'm in trouble. He allowed the ball to be dropped in Genesis just so he can pull up at the end. That's why the end represent all power. That's why this power is showing up and showing out. Why is it people can't see this power? They don't know what to look for. They don't know what to see. Their eyes cannot see. It's that same power that created everything in the beginning. That's the same power. Go get victory at the end. And we have the audacity to drop the ball in the beginning. That's why he's not worried about people going back to the beginning, picking up the ball. It's too heavy for them. They wouldn't even know where to look. You got all these pastors, priests, evangelists, teachers, Maureen seers, bishops, prophets, prophetess, all of them lost. Not only lost, just lost. They lost with the cause and without. Because all this time, y'all, it was about that power. It was about the power. They changed everything enough to change your mind on seeing who he was. He didn't have no problem with that either. He let the ball be dropped. Now, wait a minute, Father, y'all. If the ball was dropped in the middle, or at the, during the time of Messiah, or in the time of Solomon, wait a minute, what about Ezekiel time? But y'all let the ball be dropped at the beginning. He allowed the ball to be dropped at the beginning. And guess what the mystery is? The mystery is going through the narrow gate. You have to find life. And he says, very few shall find exactly what I'm talking about today. That power. That power that was given to us to be able to exist on the earth with breath. It was always about that power. And what's deep today is that same power we dropped back in Genesis. He's going to use that same power. He created everything to destroy everything. Same power. So this is why it's finished. This is why I sit and I wonder, well, why? They dropped the ball way back, Father, before the Messiah even came. They dropped the ball way back, y'all. Way back in the beginning. No wonder he ended the world. No wonder it's going to be like the days of Noah. You know what, you guys? It can't be like the days of Noah as we understand it. Why? Because he says worse than any time. The time that we're not time, the day that we're in today is worse than no other that has ever existed on the face of the earth. So what does that do? It kicks the day of Noah to the curb. Why? Because we were to take out exactly what he meant when he said it's going to be like the days of Noah. That was to give us some sort of idea of how it's going to be like the days of Noah. But it's going to be a day like no other ever exist, ever on the face of the earth. So now it went beyond the days of Noah. And he said, go the narrow gate. He that goes that way. And it's something you got to find. And I'm like saying, Father, they ain't going to find that. That can't be found. You see, because people today have no idea it was that power all the time. While we're on this earth, for the rest of your living, speak about the power, y'all. It's always been about the power. Remember, Sister Deborah was telling you all, I don't know how long you all been on here, but I talked about the power, from a good, probably 5-6 years. Remember, I was talking about the right hand and I was stuck. It was like I couldn't get off of it. Remember, I was talking about the stretched out arm, the right hand. That was the power. It has always been the power, all the time. Everything has always been the power, to the point where I said, Father, come on now, Father, please, Father, y'all. It is, isn't it, Father? Yes, it is, Deborah. We were to be preaching then as now about the power. Even back into the days of Noah. You remember David and Goliath? Do you remember Israel coming out of Egypt? All that power. We still don't even talk about today how the sea was parted. Come on now, y'all. You got to have seen it, even if you haven't not seen it, but you got to have some sort of imagination. If he parted the sea, they walked on dry land. It took what to do that? To go into Egypt and pull out all of those plagues, it took something. Power. Tell him what is that? What is it? I'm to tell him that I am, that I am. What is that? If he was to ask, who am I to tell? That I am, that I am. Ahaya, ahaya. But they don't know who that is. That's their power. That's that power that came on them with all them plagues. You want to know who I am? I am that I am. I try my best to kind of teach the I am that I am, because when you really, really know it based on how the Ruach teach you, it says that I can be whatever I want. Mess with me if you want to. That's exactly what it said. I can be whatever I want. Mess with me if you want to and find out. I can be this, I can be this, I can be this, I can be this, I can be the I am here, I am there, I am everywhere, I am. All power. Pull up on me if you want and find out. Yah had this thing so set up, so smooth. And it is. When I look at it, I see how smooth it is. Because I'm like saying, so that's why Yeshua was saying, oh, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. He said, y'all, the power is at hand. When did we come to understand it based on what everybody was teaching us? It's when he said, Emmanuel, meaning Yah with us. We missed it then too. Because if Yah is with us, ain't that the power? See, it's everything that we missed. Even to the year of 2026, we have no idea. It's all detached to the power. And we're going to read on that. And guess what? The whole gospel in which we were to be preaching all these years was about the power. Let me show you something. I'm gonna go here because I know no matter, I can go here. I can go to Matthew 24 and 14, a million. No, I said I can go here, say 10 million times, and people still not one will get it. They won't get it. Because if you don't know about the power, you'll never get it. Here in Matthew's chapter 24, I'm going to show you right here. When it began to tell you about the preaching in all the world, people were thinking that gospel was somebody's going out and preaching the gospel. Wait a minute, what was all that they've been doing ever since then? That wasn't the gospel. So what is it at the end day? The gospel is going to be preached to all the world as a witness to all the nation. Who's going to be doing that? Who you think he's finna? Oh, I know. You think he's finna send Yeshua back down, right? So he can go over all the nation, all the world, and preach the gospel. Yeshua said, I didn't come for the lost. Yeshua said, I didn't come to tamper with the law and the commandment. I come for the lost. And people still don't get that. He letting you know, I ain't come for everybody. Only for the lost. Who lost them? And when did they get lost? And who do they belong to if they are lost? So if they are lost and you come for the lost, well, who do they belong to? They have to belong to somebody if they lost. You see? He was telling us then, only certain ones I'm coming for. Here in Matthew's 24 was something I've been dealing with for probably good 3 years. And I kept saying the gospel of the kingdom. I said, well, how has that got to do with preaching? We were to be talking in the year of 2026, like 2025, 24. We should have been talking since the beginning about the power. That's all he wanted us to do, y'all. Because what they doing now, they trying to serve a creator. And that's why they serving so many different names, so many different individuals, so many different statues, so many different cross, so many different denominations. Why? Because they didn't know all you had to do is understand the power. The power is what was dropped back in Genesis. The power to understand all understanding. The power to know that there's a knowledge that falls under he that has all understanding. The power to know that there was wisdom that is with he that has all understanding. Everything rests right back to the Father, and no one has the power to know really who he is. They running around with the name without the power. So I said, Father, in the instruction book, not the instruction book, the study guide, you never heard no one talk about denying the power, or we need to be on the power. We need to, because he knew the ball was going to be dropped. He wasn't worried about you picking the ball up today. Y'all didn't care if you didn't pick the ball up today. And he still don't. Because the ball is too heavy for you to pick up. It's too heavy. That's why it's over. He ain't looking for you to take the year of 2026 and run back and get the ball and say, "Now I got it. I understand." No. The ball been dropped too long for you to pick it up and bring it into the year of 2006 and think you got it. Because even in this year, as we living, we still don't understand that power. So I said, but why was it mentioned about denying the power? He said, because the power was what we were always to be focusing on. And y'all gonna find that out. And I'm like, it was always the power, y'all. Even right here, it telling us right here today, we ain't got no business opening up our mouth if we are not preaching the gospel. Then one say, oh, the gospel is the true book, the 1611, the King James this, and the lost books. No, baby, just like I told you many times. That's not it. That's not it. The gospel is the power of who the Father is. Can you preach? Can you teach? Can you speak on the power if the power is not in you? No, you can't. You can't say nothing about the power. That's why you don't know that it's about the power. It's because it's the power is not in you to speak of it. You see? So therefore, you can't speak of the power to nobody. And that's probably why 99.15 trillion have not. Because if you don't have the power in you, how can you speak of the power to those that's on the outside of you when the power don't reside in you? That's why he said, remember, listen to this. He said, when the Ruach come upon you, you shall receive, not the name, oh, Father Yah, but the power. Because Yah only wanted us to receive of him, to identify him in us, to receive it as the power. Yeshua say, you all should, not only should you receive the Ruach HaKodesh, but you shall do many signs and wonders greater than I. Greater than him. Yeshua said that. But guess what? We haven't even gotten to nowhere near revealing the power and doing greater miracle signs and wonders as he has. Because the power was lost a long time ago. So the gospel has never been preached, y'all, because it has not been preached with power. You see? That's why all these people got so many different denominations, so many different religions, so many interpretations, so many different beliefs. It's because there's no power backing it up. There's no power laying it down. I always wondered, y'all, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like I told y'all in time past, why is it I can go anywhere, any nationality, and when I start to speak, it gets silent? You know what I call that? For me, is a form of saluting. They don't know what I'm saying. They might not understand what I'm saying. They might not get it. But there's something in me when I speak silence in the form of saluting the fact that we don't know who she is, but everybody gets quiet, male and female. That has been my whole living. Silence. And I speak. So it ain't so much as who I am on the outside. It's that power that's greater on the inside. And that's why people didn't understand why the battle ain't in the flesh. Because it's not about the power of the flesh. It's about the power that's in the spirit. That's where the real war's at. We battle in the spirit. Because that's where the power resides. The flesh has no power. I know we think they do. It do, because we think we do everything. We can shoot, we can kill, we can stab. Oh, no, no, no. That's not the power. There's a power greater than that and more powerful than that. We keep looking on the outside for this power. We keep thinking that everything on the outside of who we are, which is our flesh, carries all authority. No, 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 no. It's when they pull up on you and they know who you are without you saying anything and without them saying anything. They already know. That's that power. Power of what? Their spirit knowing your spirit. Oh, yes. So what we're going to learn today is the whole gospel wasn't about John, Luke, Mark, Matthews, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. And it's beautiful because it tells the whole story that we missed all the way to the very end. So when he's saying it's finished, this is the reason why. How can we say that it's still going on when the ball never was picked up in the beginning? Here we are in the year thousands of years later, in the year 2026, and they still don't know it's about the power. And that's what's going to show up and show out. Just as it did to Pharaoh, the power had to have been shown. Well, let me tell you what he did. He sent in Moses, watch this here, and Aaron into Pharaoh. Let the people go. But y'all already met Pharaoh. What do you mean, Deborah? He went into Pharaoh and hardened his heart. So he would not let the people go. Would Pharaoh have let the people go? Sure, he would have. Why? Because he favored Moses. He looked up to Moses. Because what need would it be for the Creator to harden his heart so he would not let the people go? So that tells you that he would have let them go had not the Father's power hardened his heart that he would not let the people go. So that he would not let the people go. 99.15 trillion that been pastors, leaders, bishops, priests, apostles, prophet had no idea of what I just said. They would have never saw that coming. That Pharaoh would have allowed the people to go. tell anybody that, because he favored Moses. He loved, as the world called, Moses. Moses was like to him a brother. He wouldn't have had no problem letting the people go. And because we don't look at how that power is performed, wanting us to see his power, we still, year 2026, can't see it. He needed to display his power. You go in there and you tell him to let the people go. Why would you tell Moses and Aaron to go in there and tell Pharaoh to let the people go, and you turn around and use your power to harden his heart so he would not let him go, so you can do what? Show up and show out. And that's what he did. All of that he did, watch this here. This shows you how a people, or Israel and Judah, are a very ugly people. Because after he hardened Pharaoh's heart, so he would not let him go, he sent in Moses and Aaron in there over and 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 over, all to do what? Set his power up before the face of Egypt. How could he? Why did he do that? He always wanted to show a people who he was, who he is. Even from today, as then was he showing his power, even to today, we still don't know his power, haven't heard of his power, and can't behold his power. Power been gone a long time ago, y'all. This people can't see nothing. Because I asked the Father, I say, what Father, did they not see all that you did? What was the sense of was it really? Father, what was all those plagues about? What? And every last one of you all would think it was about Pharaoh and his army and the people of Egypt. All that time, watch this, y'all. All that time he was throwing up and throwing out, using that power on Pharaoh and Egypt, just to show in front of a people that still today can't see nothing, ain't seen nothing, and don't care nothing. Same people. It's just they offspring. Same mindset. But it's worse today, he said. I'm like, but all of that was for what, though? Y'all, when as a young person, a teenager, that was the question I asked. What was all that for? Because in me, y'all, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense then. What is all them frogs and all that different? What is all that about? Why would y'all, anybody in the live chat, why would I want and think or feel at say 19 that I want to know what was all that about? Why? What was all that about? Why would I at 19 wanting to ask the creator himself, what was all that about? And what would make me ask him that? I know you can't answer it, because I'm telling you, when you in the light, you bring light out, no matter how dark it is. You know why I kept asking him that? And yes, I did it for many years, because it didn't make sense. Because in my mind, I'm saying that you wouldn't even have to use that, Father, if you hadn't hardened Pharaoh's heart. Who are you trying to get to see you? The same people today that saying they're the people. And I ain't talking about over in the fake ooze. The same people, which say the spirit in you. Yep, that's it. But it didn't make sense to me, y'all. Why? See, I'm sitting here saying to the Father, why are you sending Moses and Aaron into Egypt And then you gonna go before them and harden Pharaoh's heart. Why? It didn't make sense. You harden this man's heart and then pour out plagues on him because you hardened his heart. He didn't harden his heart. You hardened it, Father, y'all. Y'all, let me tell y'all, I got a visit from the Most High, y'all. He said, ain't nobody gonna teach you. Because you ask question man cannot answer. I thought that was funny. When I heard that in my spirit, and when I told my mother, she said, oh my goodness, did he say that? I said, yes. Because I'm like saying, you know what that has to do with? Really in your spirit wanting to know. Because I'm wrestling with this. Wait a minute, hold up. You wouldn't need to do the pledge if only you would not have hardened Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh loved Moses' father. He would have let him go. So what was all that about? I'm going to give a minute to hear everybody or somebody tell me what was that all about? What was that all about? What was all that about? Oh, I'm so sorry, Father Yah. Father Yah, I'm so sorry. And I know you don't want me to be sorry because this is your will, Father, but it feels so sorry. It feels so sad. What was it all about? The power to awaken Elijah. That was the power. That was the power as well. But guess what? But you can, okay, if you were to say that, come on. Let's take that, what you just said. Let's apply it and put it in the righteous order. Now, you say the power to awaken Elijah. Guess what? It was the same power to awaken the Israelites. That's what it was about. He was showing his power in the face of the Hebrew Israelites. He wanted them to show, he was showing them how much he cared for them, how much they meant to him, to where I am willing to throw down on them for your sake. Woo, woo. You see? I'm willing to harden Pharaoh's heart so he won't let you go. So you can see what I'm going to do to him regarding you. See, even to today, the Hebrew Israelite people have the real so-called wannabe is Hebrew Israelites. Let me tell you, this is how blind they are for real. All of this that take place, y'all. We talking about right now where we at. We back up in Exodus talking to. That's why I say don't come to me telling me nothing about no Torah. You don't know a rat's behind about no Torah. Talking about some Torah. Torah your tail somewhere and sit down. Don't know nothing, but then try to whoop you with, you got to go by Torah. Torah your tail somewhere and sit down. The reason, the answer he gave me was these people I had chosen, Deborah. And all of this was about them seeing me come down to protect them. Seeing me being a Yah to them, a protector, a shielder, someone that's going to bring them out of what they were in. Because there's no way they would have came out had not I brought them. Oh, Father. But did they see me bring them out? No. No. Did they see all the plagues he put on Pharaoh and them in the army? No. No. Did they see when he put the firstborn, the death of the firstborn? No. Nope. What about the blood on their doorpost? Nope. Nope. They never saw anything, y'all. Even to the year 2026, they will teach it and preach it and never give it to you like I'm giving it to you. But all y'all did would show them who he was. And what was that? His power. And here we are today. Still don't know his power. It always been his power, y'all. All those signs and things that the plagues, that was power, y'all. Following them by cloud by day, fire by night, through the wilderness, going, parting the sea, drowning Pharaoh's army. All that in the name of this people. I want to see them to see, Deborah. All I wanted them to see was my power. Even to today, it was his power that he wanted everybody to see. That's it. It was that power all the time. All this time. Jacob, when he was wrestling, he needed a deliverance. He needed a right now blessing because Esau was going to kill him, y'all. But when he got that blessing, that night he turmoiled with that angel, when he knew right then, he even hurt himself. All he wanted was a blessing of protection for his family and himself because his brother Esau was on his back. And Yah gave it to him. Even changed his name. He gave it to him. And what did that? What did Jacob say? I've seen him face to face. Why? The power represent my father himself. I told y'all that. When you seen the work of the Father, his power, you done seen him face to face. And that's why Jacob ain't seen him like he's look at me and not look at him. No, he didn't see him like looking at me like, that he's telling you that power, Deborah. Tell them, teach that to them people. Let them know. It was the power that blessed me and brought me out of a situation that I was in. And I knew if I hadn't wrestled and turmoil that night, and when I woke up, I was assured that he had blessed me with the power to be protected. And I called it, I've seen his face, Deborah. Face to face. That's what Jacob said. He ain't seen his face like we say face to face, or we seen him or seen him at a distance. He's talking about that power. Because we are rejecting the ideal of the power, and we thinking we know him. We thinking we can pull up on him. We can lay our head on his bosom. Oh, we can talk to him. We can do whatever we want. No, you can't, baby. Let me see you go through that narrow gate. How about that? How about that? How about that? Go through, take your tail through that narrow gate. Let's see if you ever can find it, which you probably couldn't. But I'm just saying, go through that narrow gate. Come on with it. Pull up. That power is what it was all that time. And I said, but Father, all that thing you did, they still didn't see you. I know I shouldn't have said that, y'all, but I said that many times when I was stupid. I'm still stupid. So I ain't gonna say when I'm still stupid. And I don't have no problem with that. That's that stupid in the flesh. Pull up on me in the spirit. I'm gonna show you how stupid I really am. You see? So here it is. I'm like, they still didn't see you. You throwing down for them, Father. I said, well, what's the purpose? I couldn't, it didn't make sense to me. None of it made sense. That's why I say I can go all the way back. Don't come to me talking to me about no Torah. You don't know nothing about no Torah. Because when you step in spirit and truth in Torah, it'll bust you wide open. I'm going to tell you something. Somebody said, and I know who it was, that they was frustrated. You know what? That's a blessing. It's a blessing for you to be frustrated. It's because you feeling that thing. You can't be frustrated if you ain't feeling it. We all would give you words of comfort. But the truth of the whole fact, you need to be frustrated. Because do you see what I'm talking about now? Way back then. And I'm like, say, you put the blood on the pole, had them to put it and eat the sacrifice, the lamb, and put the blood on the door, and death came to Egypt and missed them, and they still didn't see you, Father. I shouldn't say it like that, but that's how I said it. Yes, I did. They still did all that you done done. They still ain't seen you. So what in the rest behind you think they see him now? They running around here talking about a name. You got to know his name, or polygamy. All the things that give the flesh the enjoyment it needs on the earth. That's all they talk about, y'all. Anything that's have to deal with spirit and truth and the light, they have no detachment to. So I'm like saying, but you parted the Red Sea and you drowned the soldiers and everything. They didn't see that either, Father, y'all. Deborah, I'm aware of that. Because when they got to where I was taking them, they complained the whole time. And they took all the jewelry that they left out of Egypt with and wanted to make their own God with it. Now, y'all tell me ain't something wrong with y'all. Every last one is something wrong with y'all if you don't see nothing wrong with that. You're going to take what wealth you took out of Egypt and make you something that you can have a God that you can dance around and see and talk to. After all that he did for you, preparing your way out, get your dumb tails out of the land of captivity, and you still come out doing what you're doing, like unto today. That's why I say a lot of people, these people is the same bloodline of them back then. They got the worst of mentality. They got this real bad mentality that they are the heavens itself. Let's put it like that. They think they the angels of the whole kingdom. Don't even understand how Yah orchestrated it before the foundation of the world. He put you right where you need to be before you got down here. When he created the first man and the first woman, everything was perfect, and he knew it was. But they too was written already in the book of eternal. So he said, oh, everything's perfect. Oh no, wait a minute. I got to put this other thing. I got to put this other tree down here because this is the tree that the majority of them going to go to. So I got to put this tree for their life. They're living on the earth in their life, their eternal life. Let me put this tree down here where everything is perfect. Because this is the tree they're going to go to. That's how wise and smart, intelligent, all-knowing. When you speak of AI and all this GPS, all the mess that they doing, it's a form of trying to capture the intelligence of the Father. And they can't even match it. They try so hard, they can't match it. Being an all-knowing creator, being an all-powerful creator. You see, that's what they want. And let me tell y'all, what y'all do not understand, in the end day, it ain't got a rat's behind to do with your money. It's got to do with the power to control you. And the only way they can control you is to take your money. Take what you have. Destroy what you have. Because after they destroy your materialistic things and taking your stuff from you, guess what? They know they got you. They know they got you. And what do they have? The power to control you. That's what people don't even understand. That's what AI and all that trash is for. It's all about mind control so we can have power over you. So the act of what you see today in the year of 2026 is the same thing that Yah is, all power. And they trying to be all power. And the only way they think that they can be all power, if they can be in control of all things that has to do with you. So that's what they're lining up, is the control so they can have all power over you. They ain't gonna have no problem with that. They ain't gonna have no problem with that. They pretty much got that together. I'm gonna be past 50%, way past 50%. They already got that. Because there's some things they doing right now that I'm seeing in the wilderness. And I'm like saying, Father, but they don't see it. The people, do they understand? No. The heart are so hardened in this day and time to where they can't see none of this. And it's the way Yah still has it. They're not going to. When your heart is so hardened, a lot of this stuff here that I'm talking about, you can't see. You can't see. You don't have the eye of the spirit to see. You don't have the ear of the spirit to hear. And you don't have the heart of Yah residing in you. So you don't have what it takes to really grip what someone is saying and understanding it in its fullness. Now, when you go back to the beginning in Exodus and you go back and sit back up in that and you'll see. Then when you take the first one, which was Genesis, you'll find out throughout Genesis, all it was about was power. It was his power all the time that he was revealing. He was wanting them to see his power. Israel and Judah, the house of Israel, the whole house never saw his power. That's why they got over in the wilderness and going up against him all the time. Because they didn't see all the things that he was doing. They didn't see all the things he did for them in Egypt. That should have been enough to show them that when we got a creator that's on our side. He brought us out of captivity. He gave us, he's bringing us out so we can have a better, a way of thinking, living, and serving him. All that he did. So a lot of people today talks about the Exodus. We're going to exit, out of here, this land. Y'all ain't going to do it like he did the first one. Because this exit is an exit to eternal. A lot of y'all don't know that. Oh, yes, it is. He ain't giving you 1,000 more years for nothing. What do you mean, Deborah? He's going to put a new flesh heart in you. He's giving you what he gave it in the beginning. He gave them many years. And that's what he's going to do. When he bring his remnant out, that's what he has prepared for them. Just so they can survive. Why? Because they are truly going to be eternal. They are the eternals of the kingdom. And he's going to clean them up in Mount Zion. He ain't cleaning you up and giving you his name and putting his name in you, putting his spirit in you for nothing. He doing that because he's putting you into eternal, y'all. A lot of people, these Hebrew Israelites, they can't teach that like that. He's setting you up for eternal. Mount Zion is for eternal, you guys. Okay? Anybody come up there even thinking they can smell up on that mountain for any type of corruption or any type of war, he's going to take them to the battlefield and cut them all off. Destroy them right then and there. Because now you don't understand. You're trying to mess with that holy that's up on that mountain. So you thinking you looking at people up there, but these people are greater than just people. I invested so much cleaning up in them till they just waiting for the New Jerusalem. See, y'all didn't know that, did you? That's all you're going over there for, to wait for the New Jerusalem. That's it. You going over there to wait for the New Jerusalem. Oh, yes. Because the New Jerusalem coming down. Even though you still got to be judged, the New Jerusalem is coming down. But your judgment is that judgment where he says, and I'm going to hold you blameless. That's why. He ain't taking you to Mount Zion and investing his whole self into you because you're going to repeat what they did in Egypt. No, he's doing that because he's preparing you as his small remnant that he knows that you are invested. Not you as your flesh, but your spirit belongs to him. You see, it's already written. And we all going to be changed when that New Jerusalem hit. We ain't going to be in this type of body. That's the difference of what you're going to be like in Mount Zion versus where you at now, or when the New Jerusalem come. We all be changed. We're not going to be in flesh. We're going to be in flesh while we in Mount Zion, but we're going to be cleansed like white as snow, because that's all he's going to invest all this stuff in us. And we're going to a holy place. See, another thing people don't understand, that place is holy. You strictly on holy ground, and y'all gonna be in the midst. Okay, so when we look back at Egypt, you can go back as far as Genesis. All of it was about the power. Everything from Genesis to Revelation is about the power. The only thing different is the power is how it's going to get victory, how it's going to get respect. It's going to throw down. And all the world is going to witness it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we today that are of the children of the Most High Yah, the true servants, that's what we should be preaching, is the power, which is the gospel. Let me go to Romans chapter 1. The power. In Romans chapter 1, I want you to just hear this. I don't need him to tell me. I already know. But I want to show you how another servant of the Most High Yah knew what was what. So when I get to Romans chapter 1, and let me get it. It's right here in front of me. I don't know what I'm. Romans chapter 1. And why is it I'm missing it? Romans chapter 1, verse 16. I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. You see how Christ is connected to that power? The gospel is the power, but look how Christ is connected with that power. You see that? Watch this here. Romans chapter 1, verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach, for it is the power of Yah unto salvation to everyone that believeth. That means whoever got that brand. To the Jews first, and also to the Greeks. So letting you know it ain't just the Hebrew Israelites. But right here, he's telling you the gospel is, as Christ is, the power. The power. But today, they would never preach that and teach that to you all. They never will. They never will come around and bring it to that level, because this is what separates who's who and what's what on this earth, period. It's no way the broad gate ain't, as it has been said, a way of destruction. And the narrow gate is what it was said to be. And it says very few shall find. I find that to be true. 100. No doubt. I feel that thing. And again, like I was talking about being frustrated, I think that's a form of feeling that ruach in you. And when you got that ruach in you, you get frustrated on the outside of you. Why? Because he's teaching you from one level and showing everything to you and revealing things to you. And you get frustrated because here it is. He's showing it to you and breaking it down, and you frustrated because you're trying to figure out why ain't nobody getting it. But they can't get it. It's not in them. People will give you reason why you shouldn't be frustrated. because they'll never reach that level of being frustrated, because they don't have nothing to be frustrated about. But when you have the Holy Spirit, you're going to be frustrated. That's why he talks about long suffering and endurance, because you're going to feel that thing. It's a part of feeling spirit and truth. It's a part of feeling the Holy Spirit from the inside, teaching you all this here, shining your light, opening your eyes to see, and you running around with your eyes wide open, walking in darkness. And you frustrated with what you see. And what you see, people are not getting, people are not hearing. Because Yah has made you the light in the midst of all the darkness. So you got a reason to be frustrated, because now your flesh got to carry that. You see? And it can cut up, because it's like, wait a minute, come on now, here it is, plain to see. Okay. You're seeing it for what it is. You're feeling it for what it is, and you can't seem to understand what's wrong. That can be very frustrating. But just like I was just showing y'all in the book of Exodus, how he broke everything out right there. And all he was doing it for, he wasn't doing it for Pharaoh and them. Them firstborn, all them people got killed. Do y'all know who? Okay. All of this stuff that took place in Egypt had to do with a people he want them to see his power. All he wanted them to see was his power. Because when we tell you something, he didn't have to get the okay to set nobody free. I want to bring you all the way to the edge now. He don't have to go to Pharaoh to tell Moses and Aaron to go to Pharaoh to set my people free. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to show his power. He didn't have to do that. All he needed to do is to take the people out. That's the difference in this Exodus. He gonna come get your butt and take you out. He know what who his remnant is. It's a small remnant. Here in Egypt, he didn't have to go through all that. And that's what I said when I was 19. All that. For what? And the only reason why I was talking like that is because after they got into the wilderness, and they was acting a fool like they act a fool every day toward the Most High Yah, toward Moses and Aaron, toward each other. I said, you did all that to get them out, and look how they are. You don't think he knew that they would do that in the wilderness? Sure he did. That's why he left their tails there. You don't mess with the Most High Yah. And I said that today, and I said boldly. Go on thinking you can play, you can stand in anywhere you want to, and think that, he gonna do it your way. You gonna rule him and tell him. Oh no, you ain't. You're gonna be 6 foot under before you know it. And hell will be waiting for you after that. Don't think you rule it, because you don't. So when I used to ask him, I'm like saying, when all that shit you doing and you to get them out, you came down here to bring them out. You heard their cry and you did all that, and they still ain't gonna see you. But he said, I know. But what did he do then, y'all? He did all that power. All that power he was performing. Even the power to death. He sent death to go kill the firstborn. Come on now, y'all. He didn't even have to do that. What was you doing all that for? Them people that had blood on their doorpost, and the next morning they didn't give a rest behind what you just did on their behalf. Why? He was showing them his power. So I'm going to tell y'all something. All these years, y'all, thousands of years from the beginning. In the beginning, he was showing you his power. And Sister Deborah have taught that thing more than 100 times. That in the beginning was his word, and his word was with him. His word spoke, and his power brought forth. We as people are so sick. We are sick people because all of it he created, we still didn't recognize the power. We didn't even recognize, now I said they didn't even recognize when he said, let us. He was telling that power, since we didn't did everything else, now let us make man in our image. Letting the power know, because the power is him and he is the power. Let us make him in our image. Because when it got down to making it, he said it what? And y'all made man in his own image, male and female. Now, let's do like this. Let's cut out male and female. Male and female didn't start on the earth, y'all. See, that's what I'm saying. This is why people don't respect the Most High Yah. And I know they don't. And that gets very frustrating. Male and female came from the kingdom. And from what? An image of the Father. That is his image. A male and female is an image of Yah. Is it the same female image as we are in the flesh? No. No. It don't have those sort of organs and breast, all of those things. No. Don't forget where it started. We understand it as a lust of the body. But he understands it as him, feminine and masculine. And this is what we don't understand, because we wants to make it like we want to see it on the earth, because we got a lustful eye and we got a way of thinking in our nasty flesh. Just like you right now is a male and like I'm a female. When I get my butt to the kingdom, I'm not going to be male nor female. I'm going to be a spirit, which is an angel, like I was before I got my tails down here. He gave you his image, not your own. He had an image that he gave you, but he gave you your own spirit that's like unto his spirit. We just cut out on everything about him, and we take it and we make it out of the fleshly mindset of how we wants to see it, and we understand it. So that example in Exodus, I want to tell y'all that was a lesson to me as a young person. That's why I was talking like that at 19. I knew that something had took place before the foundation of the world, and why. He already knew that they weren't going to do right, even to this very day today. So why do you wait for him to do something special for you when you still the same that you were when you were in the world? You ain't changed nothing. You ain't done nothing no different. That's how they were in Egypt. They came out of Egypt the same way they were. They sick minds, even all the way up to where they are today. Same sick minds. But they feel that today the Most High owes them. They entitled. Back then, they were really dumb. They didn't care. They wasn't looking for a Yah. They didn't care about a Yah. That's why they got over there and brought them out of captivity, and they had the audacity to get in the wilderness and complain after you was in slavery. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's like today. Same way today. But if you really go back after Sister Deborah give this message tonight, you're going to go back and you're going to find things that you never knew. You're going to start to read and you're going to start to study. You're going to start to have the Spirit of Yah teaching you certain things, and everything that you're going to be running up on is going to come up to his power. It's all going to lead to his power. Let me start from the first one. I have one here. I have First Corinthians. You know what, y'all? I really didn't do as well as I really wanted to. But if you really think about back then, all that he did to show them himself, they never got it right. Did y'all know that? They never got it. They never saw all that power. Remember the rock, how he fed them from heaven, and how he revealed water to them. Just everything he did for them, it never was enough for them to see his power. You get what I'm saying? That's how it is today. But today is worse than yesterday. Because people thinking they see in people as his power. They ain't even looking for miracle signs and wonders like Yeshua said we should be having great. They ain't even looking for miracle signs and wonders. Y'all get it? They ain't. Why? Because it come through power. Yeshua said we should be doing greater than what he did. What do he mean by that? Deborah, Deborah, y'all supposed to be throwing down on that power, Deborah. If I woke the dead up, you supposed to wake the dead up. If I lay hands on the sick, you supposed to be laying hand on the sick. So what he's saying is, we missing the power today as well. We don't even have it. No, I ain't gonna say we. Let me, you better not say that. Oh no, let me not say that, because that wouldn't be right. Because I know that Yah has given me that power, that ability to do that. So I'm not gonna sit here and say we. So what Yeshua had said, why ain't nobody doing it? What did he leave with us? That we should be doing more and greater. What did he mean? The power, y'all. The power. That's why I tell you, people really think they gonna get in because they think they cute. They think they gonna get in because they think they this. They just don't know. You ain't got no characteristics, none whatsoever. You ain't got no work. And it's no way that I'll be down on this earth in the year 2026 doing zip and thinking I'm going up. I can't see that. I can't see it. And he's not, because of your works. And what he wants you to know, not the work of the flesh, but the work of your spirit. Working on behalf as the servant of Yah. That's what you have to understand when he says it's not your works that gets you in. He's letting you know the things you do in your flesh. But it's the things you do in your spirit that represents the work of the Father. That's what he's meaning. So let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 15. In 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 15, it says, For though ye have 10,000 instructors in Christ. 10,000 instructors in Christ. Yet have ye not many fathers. Do anybody understand what he mean by that? Let's go there again. 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 15. For though ye have 10,000 instructors in Christ, yet have ye not many fathers. Okay? For in Christ Yeshua, I have begotten you through the gospel. Begotten meaning bring forth. Bring forth through the gospel, through the power. Christ yet had, let's go, even though, for though ye have 10,000 instructors in Christ, yet have ye not many fathers. For in Christ Yeshua, I have begotten, I have brought forth you through the gospel. which is through the power. You see that? And only through the power. You cannot get to the Father without going through the Son. And which Son is that? Hamashiach, the power. I know we think we can go all kind of ways in the house of Yah, but only one way is through the door. And it takes something to open the door to let you in. And I say unto you all, we've missed it from Genesis to Revelation. And many times I said that, and I know it's not one probably understand or understood. The ball was dropped in, it's still dropped today. But when you hear Matthew's talking about, for the gospel shall be preached, do you believe that the people really understand that? No, they don't. They thinking you're going to take the Bible. Oh, I'm traveling and I'm a pastor. Why do you think you got so many mega churches? Why do you think you got so many people have these big churches and these big platforms nowadays, call themselves teaching and preaching, call themselves a prophet or a prophetess or a priest or a bishop or and many of them thinking they're a pastor, Maureen, seers, and watchmen, and have no power to be claiming that type of position because they don't even understand his power. They think they can come on all around him without the power. The power was what we were supposed to see all this time. So let me show y'all what I mean. I was explaining to you all about 3 years ago that I had an issue, and I did. I had a serious issue because I ran up on this thing about, and the heathen shall know, and the heathen shall know, and the heathen shall know, and they shall know, and the heathen shall know, and the heathen shall know. And I'm like, who gives a rat's behind about the heathen know? What is it that you want us to know that the heathen's gonna know? What is it, Father, you want us to know that the heathen's gonna know? Guess what it was, y'all? His power. He ain't talking about knowing him. The Father is not saying the heathen's gonna know him. They're gonna know his power. Do you think every tongue is gonna confess? Every knee gonna bow? You're a fool if you don't know what for. Because of the power. Every knee is going to bow because of what they're going to see. Every tongue is going to confess after what they see. And what is they going to see? That power. Something we have not seen nor preached. The gospel is the power, and it has not been preached. And it's now being preached because I know I've been doing it. I've been talking about that power. Many of you all, I think when you all came into this channel, I think I was on the right hand and it stretched out arm. What is that? The power. Or many of you all came in Genesis when I was telling you when he was the word was Yah speaks the word and his power bring everything the word speak out. He bring it through his power. I taught that for probably 100 videos. Sister Deborah have been on her teaching exactly what Matthew 24 and verse 14 said. In all the world, the gospel shall be preached as a witness. Because they're going to see it. The power for what it is. They're going to see it. So when you hear them saying, "Oh, every tongue going to confess, every knee going to bow," it's because when they see him, and what he's going to do, they're going to see that power. They ain't going to bow for nothing. They ain't going to confess for nothing. They're going to see his power. So that's another thing about Revelation. It puts such a scare throughout years into many bishops and pastors and priests talking about it, because he was talking about all these things coming up from the ground and all these things coming from the sea and all these things coming from the bottomless pit. Who can do that? The power of Yah. You think the beast is going to give his power to the Antichrist or to the beast? You think the dragon gonna give that power like he got some power? No, he gonna only give what God has given, Yah has given him. And all of y'all don't even understand. Yah's right hand is still bagging everything up and landing everything down when we finish running our mouth. He's still in full control by that power. So we teach us it, and we open our mouth to a lot of things that we really don't know, and we think we got it made because we can easily manipulate people that we know. And I sit back and that we know something when you don't know nothing. Here it is in 2 Corinthians. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 through 4. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 through 4, it says, but if our gospel be hidden, it is hidden to them that are lost. If our gospel be hidden, it is hidden to them that are lost. That is Paul speaking. Yeah, that was Paul. He's saying, if our gospel be hidden, our gospel is Yah's gospel. We shall receive what? When the Ruach come upon us, power. And that power will teach us all things. We will teach, we teach all things. He's going to reveal things, show us things to come. So when we start to preach, we starting to teach, we're teaching about first and foremost the power. Because that's what gave us what we have, which is the power. When he talks about coming through the door, and when I'm saying coming through the front door, you got to come through the front door. That means you're going to have to receive that power as well. When you come through that front door, you're going to have the power. You ain't going to be able to go up and down, to and fro all over the country like you have actually seen all these pastors, these evangelists, these priests, and these teachers. They all of them teaching this thing without the power. They figure they don't need to teach it with the power, because the power that they want to teach it is the power of the flesh, the power of darkness. Because when they're teaching it, they enlarging the broad gate. They bringing people in all kind of ways without the power of the Father. And you think the Father have a problem with it? No, because if he had a problem with it, he wouldn't have let the ball be dropped way back in Genesis. He would never have allowed that ball to be dropped way back in Genesis. To even now, to this very day, it's still there way back in Genesis. Meaning they ain't never picked it up to preach that thing right, starting with Genesis all the way to Revelation. So that shows you they've been off course. And it tells you that the whole earth is off course. And he said, when he come, anything crooked, it's going to remain crooked. He ain't making it straight, y'all. And I'm Sister Deborah tell you that right now. So you run your tail out here thinking you straight, and you as crooked can even be. So here in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 and 4, but if our gospel, which is our power, be hidden, it is hidden to them that are lost. If our power be hidden, it is hidden to them that are lost. That's exactly what I was saying a few minutes ago. Most people don't have it. So you can talk all day and all night. And you can listen all day, all week, all month, all year, all years, and still be lost with the cost and without. Okay. Verse 4, it says, in whom the gods of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not. So they already got a hold of those who don't believe. They have blinded them. They have blinded their mind of them which believe not. Their mind is blinded. Lest the light of the glory of the gospel of Christ. You see how Christ is connected to that power? How many times did I tell y'all that? Christ is that power. Many times, none of them really gripped. Why is it that Yeshua is not detached to it when it's talk about many verses about Christ? It's because Christ, you have to recognize it, like I'm telling you from the beginning, it's the power. I told you. That's why they didn't know. They didn't know the right hand. First and foremost, they didn't know the word that was saying let. He was telling the power. They didn't know the power was right there in Genesis 1. And here today, it's the same way. They still don't know. And they ain't going to know. So it says in verse 4, in whom the gods of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glory of the gospel, the power of Christ. It's sitting there telling you the power of Christ. Because Christ is the one that came down as the beloved son. He gave him all power. You see? But people can't get it. They still don't get it. And we that are in the body of Christ, how do we get in there? Through the power of who Christ is. That's how we got in there. We got redeemed through the power back to the Father, who is the image of Yah, should shine unto them. Verse 5, for we preach not ourselves, but Christ. There go the power. Yeshua, the Lord, as it says, and ourselves servants for Yeshua's sake. So the power is what everything is about. So when he said they deny the power therein, the power is invested in everything. And when we deny the Yah's power therein, we are those who have been blinded by the gods of this world. It says blinded the minds of them which believe not. So this is what you get. This is what you see in individuals who are black. I almost wanted to sneeze. Who are blind. So everything is detached to that power. Even when you go into the very end of Revelation, it still talks about that power. So what happened? The ball was dropped again. The ball was dropped again. Because I have here, oh, y'all, I at least got probably 25 verses telling you that the gospel is the power. Breaking down the gospel from Luke to Acts to Mark to Revelation. All of these verses is telling you that the gospel is what's been missing all this time. And we think for sure, we in there. So when Matthew is said, and the gospel shall be preached, it's letting you know You ain't got no business preaching nothing in this day and time until you're able to preach the gospel, the power. And you know what I was thinking? With understanding the power of Yah, it seems like it turns on the light of fear. I don't know if it makes sense. To really know the power of Yah, it turns on the spiritual light of spiritual fear. You get what I'm saying? Because you know the power now and what it is, what it stands for, what it represents, and it turns on the light of fear. Because we got two fear. We got a fear of the flesh, we got a fear of the spirit. Seem like when you know the power of Yah, it turns the light on regarding fear, that spiritual fear, because fear is one of the brands. And this is another reason why people might not might, I ain't gonna give them no reason not to, but this is another reason, many might not have. I'm just gonna say it like that. What they think they're supposed to have to really say that who they are. Yah want us to know who we are, but He don't want us to neglect who He is, because we so busy want to know who we are. We want to be more about who we are, what we stand for, than knowing who He is. Because you can, if you don't know who He is, don't line yourself up with Him, because that's what people are doing. They're pretty much identifying themselves instead of trying to identify Him and who He is and all that He is. Because once you can identify Him, guess what? You're going to automatically know who you are. That's how swift and easy it is. Because that spirit that's in you, if it's in you, it's going to let you know what's what. It's going to let you know. And it don't have to start off forcing things in you. It spoon feeds you little at a time, till you start to believe everything that there is about an unseen creator that has all power, rules, knows all things. He's all greatness. He's all excellent. He's all wonderful. He's all perfect at the highest degree of all of them. He's that handsome. He's the I am that I am. Ahaya, ahaya. See, this is where you see Him, even with the I am that I am. That takes power to be anything and everything. What's the sense of being an I am that I am with no power? That means I can be this, I can be that, I can be this, I can be up, I can be down, I can be on the side, I can be this, I can be that, I can be whatever I want. It takes a lot of really good power to be all that. So I, Sister Deborah, fully understand what the Father laid on my heart today regarding that power, because I'm like saying, I remember when I was young, just thinking back in Egypt, back in how He brought them out and all the things that He showed them. They got over there and it was like they ain't seen nothing. Bro, didn't y'all see that sea part? Did y'all not see the army get drowned? Didn't y'all walk on dry land? Come on now, y'all had to have seen all this. Did you not see the firstborn die? Didn't you put stuff on your board? They didn't see. Look, it ain't that they didn't see it. I'm just showing you what type of people they are. They were, and they are identical today, but worse. You see? So you have to also understand that the Creator got a better plan than the plan we keep cranking up or wanting people to believe and want to manipulate people to believe that it's going to be like we say it is, and it's this, is this, is this. People are getting lost in understanding because they're using their own understanding, like Solomon said. They're using the worldly understanding. They don't have spiritual understanding. Likewise with wisdom. They're using the worldly wisdom instead of the spiritual wisdom. They're using the worldly knowledge instead of the spiritual knowledge. But what happened? They don't have no other choice. Because if the power don't usher you the things of the spirit, you ain't got nothing but to work on with what you're working on with. And 99.9 is working with what they're working with. And that has to do with their flesh. Making the decisions and ideas and thinking and feeling and their own flesh power in what they're doing. Because they will never, ever give y'all the glory for the power that he holds. All power. How about that? He holds all power. Not you got it. You got 99. No, you got 95%. He got 5. Don't y'all know he know you that's your thought pattern? That's why things has to get worse to where people are in a situation like they never been, where the head going to be the tail and the tail is going to be the head. When I hear that, I don't look at it like, oh, the rich is going to be poor and the poor going. No. I look at it as he's going to flip the script. How everyone has been living, your living going to change. Your living going to change. It ain't going to be the same. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. As far as we thinking that everything is going to, people. I don't know where people think that on holy ground he gonna have this nonsense. He's not gonna have racist mindset in Mount Zion. He's not gonna have I'm better than you, you better than me. He ain't even had nobody teaching and preaching. You see, he ain't gonna tell nobody ain't gonna be teaching nobody. He ain't gonna need you to do that. It's things that really people don't understand that he's just not gonna have on no Mount Zion. Because people keep forgetting it's gonna be a holy ground. So we can't just think that all this old bull crap coming up there. Because you hear the Hebrew Israelite, oh, we're gonna make them slaves and they gonna do this. Baby. You've been reading too many books. And it didn't tore down your flesh to where you ain't thinking straight. When you think of Mount Zion, you better think of the New Jerusalem. Because the New Jerusalem is coming down. Mount Zion ain't going up. Okay? So whatever he land on Mount Zion and the way he has set it up to be, but first you got to tear it down. That's what a lot of people don't know today. And the Hebrew Israelites, they can't even teach that because they have no power to teach. They have no authority to teach. Because if you ain't got the power to teach and you don't have the spiritual wisdom, you don't have the spiritual knowledge, and you don't have the Ruach HaKodesh, which is all understanding, sit your tail down somewhere and stop running around here thinking you something and somebody when you're nothing. I know that a lot of people following you, a lot of people liking you, a lot of people are praising you, exalting you. I'm sure those angels that follow Satan did likewise in the kingdom. So hello, you ain't doing nothing on the earth but making a fool of yourself. You're showing your true identity that rests in eternal. A lot of people don't know that either. The way you conduct yourself, there are things that you're doing right here today in your flesh that identify who you serve. I know it. People don't think nobody know. They don't think even y'all know. Y'all know all about it. That's why he got you written where you need to go for eternal. But Sister Deborah, say I got so many verses here and I really don't know where to start. But you know what? I'm not going to use these verses to tell what I already know. My Father is all power from beginning to the end. And yes, the ball was dropped way back in Genesis and he left it right there. He's not going to let you pull it up to this day and time. But you know what? I'm going to go and say this because this keep on It's like it's tapping on me. Do you all know the level of evil and darkness? Respect that power. They know the limit of that power. They know the strength. They know the might of that power. How is it that wicked and evil have respect for that power? And we run around here trying to teach and preach it and don't even know it. But we're going to say, we got the name right. The name it did. The name it did. The Sabbath day. Keep the Torah. Keep everything. Without the power. Can't be done. Because when he say greater is he, he's telling you he is all power that's in thee than he that's in the world. Who is that? Who that is? Who that is for y'all? Who that is? Who that is for y'all? Who is that for y'all? Greater is he that is in thee than he that is in the world. He's letting you know right there. All power. I am that I said that I am. All power. First thing he said, after you receive the Spirit come up on you, you shall have power. He didn't say you should have the name. You ain't going to find nobody asking Yeshua, what's your father's name? Why didn't they ask in their study guide? Huh? The name. Why didn't Yeshua ask or tell them or drill them the name? Because Yeshua knew that he's bigger than a name. He's powerful than a name. That we can muzzle or we can run out of our mouth and think we got it. Do you know most people who's walking around today with the name they think? Some people think Jesus Christ. Some people think Yeshua HaMashiach. Some people got all different gods, all different names. They think that's it. They think that's it. As long as I got the name. And they ain't got no power. So do they really have anything? No, they don't. He said there's power. You shall receive power. He didn't say you shall receive a name. When that Spirit come upon you, you shall receive power. And that's what people missing. Why they're missing? Because they don't have it. I think I talked about that many times. The reason why people run around here trying to find a space that they can belong, because they don't have the power. And they want to get in the midst of those who do. Just to be there. Just to say that they're there. Not to gain that which Yah's promised that would come and that would redeem us. And that we shall receive power. No, they're content just being there. Saying I'm there. That's it. That's why so many people are following so many people on YouTube. They just following people just to say that they there. Where are they? They don't know. They just there. They don't care. They just there. They think they in there. And I don't think the Father, I think he has different servants and different levels of individuals. Everybody is not at the same level. I believe that. I would believe that. But how just will he be to expect his Ruach to reside in those that he has reside or he has poured out himself into, and then everybody else don't have to have nothing? They can just come on in. I don't think so. Matter of fact, I no way. I know so. So Sister Deborah is telling you all about the power, and I'm gonna tell you something. I know at the sound of my voice talking about the power, I'm gonna tell y'all something. You ain't gonna escape it. Whether you have the Ruach or not, this message is what was written in Matthew 24 and verse 14. And the gospel shall be preached. And it means the power shall be preached as a witness to all nation, all the world. And that's what Yah is in the making, is bringing forth the type of power he is consist of. And what the people are doing, they don't give a rat's behind. They don't care about it. But that's okay. He didn't say that it's going to be where you're going to get it. You just going to witness it. Because after he finished with his servants speaking on the power, then your eyes going to begin to see it in a way your eyes never seen it. So it's just like him. It's like a trumpet being blown. The gospel of the kingdom is being spoken, meaning regarding what? The gospel is the power. It's being spoken. What comes behind that? Destroy all the signs and wonder. It's just like going to Pharaoh. Pharaoh let the people go, or else I'm going to do this. Nope, I'm not going to let them go. Bam. When that's similar to what is going, it's not going, it is happening. And each time, each day, y'all, and I ain't going to say years. I will not claim no years. Each day, each month, he's turning it up till they get it to where every eye is going to see that power. Anybody in the live chat has any questions? You can bring a question before an individual in the live, or you can bring a question for everyone to answer, or for Deborah, Sister Deborah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They don't know what they believe finally. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. It says, finally, brother, be strong in Yah and in the power of his might. There you go. That's a good one, James. That's really good. See there? You own that one, ain't you? See there? It's just it's actually it's there. You can find these things, you know, and it's not like things are distance. It's right there, you know. So I like that one. That's what it says. Finally, my brothering, be strong in Yah and in the power of his might. He's letting you know you ain't, if you don't know my power, you don't know me. It ain't gonna be no I know this, I know this, I know this. No. Because one thing about it, everybody can't talk about the power, y'all. That's what's sad about it. Everybody can't teach the power. Yes. Someone says, let's bless this almighty Yah. Yes. Praise the most high Yah. Hallelujah. Mighty Yah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes. Someone says they talk to Christians now and who won't go near Revelation. Oh no, Christians don't go there. It's too y'all. I don't know if y'all know that in Revelation is a lot of y'all's power. This is how he summoned the judgment of the world is in Revelation. And I'm gonna tell you something. 99.9 of people who are pastors and leaders and over synagogues and temples and churches, they don't go near that because they don't want to tap into anything that's going to allow the judgment of Yah to come upon this earth. Mm-mm, mm-mm. They don't want y'all to see no judgment. So they ain't gonna go into Revelation. No, they're not going in Revelation. And someone says to let his people know him, the power. And that's what he said. That's why he said he come from the lost, but he want us to understand the lost that are his. You're right. His power, to know his power. And that when we sitting around wondering why nobody might not be talking about it, might not be preaching it, this is where we understand. We should be more understanding that they don't have it, child. It wasn't meant for them. When Yeshua told them, the disciples, and even when I hear the Hebrew Israelites in this day and time, when Yeshua tells them that I didn't come to change the law or the commandment, to deal in that area, I come for the lost. No one ever thought that, well, what is the lost? Yeah, for real. Did anybody ever think, well, wait a minute, if he said he coming for the lost of what? Who lost them? Nobody would ever ask that question. Who lost? When you came from the lost, how did they get lost? And who lost them? That's the mighty question right there. If you're coming for the lost, who lost them? And who are you coming to get? The lost. The lost of who and who lost them? This is where you won't get people teaching and preaching it, because it actually telling them there is a particular people. And it's not just the Hebrew Israelites. You have to come from the standpoint of spiritual. You see? But yes. All about the power. That's it. So again, he's not going to let nobody get away with it no more. When I said the power, it is something that's supposed to go all over the world. That means that you all are getting the opportunity to have it locked in. It's a witness, y'all. The power shall be preached. Even you yourself, when you're speaking to people, explain to them, if you can, that's what's missing in it all, is the power. Then we wondering, not we, but people are wondering, they ain't really wondering, because they can't even teach it right. What happened to that power that Yeshua said? He said, you all want to do it greater than he did. Miracle signs and wonders, using the power. What happened to that? What happened to where we ain't revealing the power? What is happening? It's showing you the form of how they left it somewhere and never picked it up. And that's how they let all these pastors take a higher level. They ain't got no business. Pastors ain't got no business but doing anything but sitting their tails on that front pew. That's it. Sit your tail down and learn. But they so geared to taking a role of leadership and ruling. Many of them, like Marcus Rogers, I think that's his name. He ain't been called by Yah. He ain't been called by Yah. He been called by his own self. That's why nobody can tell him nothing. No pastor, no nothing. He called himself. He called himself like many others. They called themselves to the holy calling, and it ain't even holy. They just role playing, just like many of them are doing. You ask them, well, okay, bro, where was the power in the beginning? They couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you. Well, what about today? Where's the power? What was that power Yeshua was talking about? What is that power in all these verses all over from the beginning? Wait a minute, what about that right hand that stretched out on? What about let? Let was a form of the power. Let mean bring it. I want you to bring this. The word spoke. Let. He's talking to his power. And in Genesis, all these things that's happening, y'all missing out. That's still that power. See, they want to teach all this monkey mess. Because it's easy to to lead the mass, the multitude, with all this monkey mess. They do good. They really do, y'all. Good in the eyes of the good tree of evil and good. That's how good it is. It's that good that takes whole hands with evil in the garden. That's that good they in. So, Sister Deborah, I hope you got something out of it, but you ain't going to escape it, y'all. This is a word regarding the power that you will not escape ever again throughout your whole living. As long as you're on this earth, it's going to come to you. Everything that you begin to do, begin to read, to step into, to step out of it, it's going to remind you of that power. So Sister Deborah, say I appreciate each and every last one of you all tuning in. And I want to let you know I will be back. And I appreciate each and every last one of you. And I like to say shalom and shalom.